Believe you back here with another video. And today we're going to be doing a video with the Movie Bug. We're going to be doing a Christopher Nolan ranking. So, Movie Bug, if you want to introduce yourself.
Well, thank you for having me here, first off. Just another movie-loving YouTuber. So it's a pleasure to be here.
So today we're going to be ranking Christopher Nolan's movies. So obviously, I think we both think he's one of the best filmmakers out there, you know, making some of the best movies now. Obviously making Tenet later on in the year, so that's kind of why we're doing this one.
Yeah.
You know, he's an absolutely incredible filmmaker. He's released, I think, like 4 of my favourite films of all time. So that just goes to show how good he is. And I think literally every movie lover, I think, agrees that he is just every movie he puts out. I mean, the following won't be included in this list since we've neither seen it.
No.
It's quite hard to get a hold of in the UK. I think the US has a criterion, but we don't have a Blu-ray, and I don't think we've got a DVD either, so we couldn't find that one online. But yeah, we're both be listing them from 9 through 1. So obviously 9 being the worst, and then the number 1 being the best. Not saying that 9 is bad. 9 is a great movie, but yeah. So maybe
he's one of those directors that just doesn't have a bad movie, really, does he?
Incredible. I think nearly even Spielberg has a bad film. I think probably Hook, in my opinion, was really bad.
Yeah.
But Christopher Nolan just doesn't put out a bad film, and I think Tenet's going to be another one that's going to be up there with one of the best sort of sci-fi mystery movies. The trailer looked really, really, really good. So if movie like you want to start with your number 9, and then we'll.
So my least favourite, my number 9 Christopher Nolan movie is The Dark Knight Rises.
Okay.
I still really like this film though, even though it's last. I kind of feel bad putting it last, but I think it has some issues in the plot structure and stuff, and I think dragged out a bit at the end. And I forget her name. Is it Talia al Ghul?
Talia al Ghul. Yeah.
I don't think that was needed.
I think that twist wasn't the best. I do probably agree with you there. But for me, it was the perfect end, though. But
I love the ending itself when you see Christian Bale and Anne Hathaway in that restaurant in France with Michael Caine. But I don't know. There's something about this film. It just doesn't feel as good as the other 2 Batman films that he done. It feels a bit choppy at times, I think. But it's still really good. It is still a really good movie. Like, I love Tom Hardy as Bane.
Yeah,
all the actors are still doing a great job, and
definitely,
it's a fun film still.
Yeah, I think Bane was nearly as good as the Joker. I thought Bane was an incredible villain, very interesting as well. I thought Tom Hardy was amazing.
Yeah, I like that they didn't take him too seriously. They kind of showed him all coming. I don't know if it was Tom Hardy's idea or Christopher Nolan's idea, but I like the fact that it wasn't super serious.
What do you think of his voice? Because I know a lot of people don't like that.
I love it. I don't know what it is about it. I love the fact that it's kind of stupid.
It's amazing. It's so stupid, yet so good. Yeah, you can take the film seriously when you've got a villain like that, and you can still take the film seriously. I think that shows what Chris Nolan did with this trilogy. Yeah, you know, he made you obviously take the Joker seriously. You took Two-Face seriously, Scarecrow seriously, and Bane with the silly voice, the silly lines, and still take him so seriously.
It's one of those things where how do you follow up Heath Ledger's Joker?
Yeah, definitely. And that's what I thought.
I think the fact they didn't try to do another super serious villain like that, and they done this very creative, different version of Bane. Yeah, because I know it's not super comic accurate, but it works really well. So,
well, it was better than the one in Batman and Robin, was it? Or was it Batman Forever?
Yeah.
That Bane was terrible. So, at least it could speak rather than grumble. But yeah. So, should we go to my number 9?
Yeah, let's do it.
So, my number 9 is the first movie in the Dark Knight trilogy, and that is Batman Begins. Now, I really love this movie. I absolutely love it. Yeah. But the one thing for me that didn't destroy it, but made it go to like a 7 out of 10 was just the third act. I thought the third act was a bit ridiculous with the whole train thing, and then the scenes where their eyes are glowing up. I thought that made it a bit less grounded and more a bit, like a superhero movie. If you know what I mean.
I feel like it goes from a Christopher Nolan film to a very comic book film, which
you've got the Ra's al Ghul bits feel very Christopher Nolan with Batman's character and arc developing. Yeah, and then the whole when Gotham's about to be gassed, that just when it goes into maybe the sort of MCU thing. Not saying the MCU is bad, but it goes into the thing saying the city's gonna be like, ended, and then you've got Batman come to save the day. I thought it was a bit ridiculous. It's still not a bad ending. I think the end bit with the Joker when he shows the Joker card, I thought that was absolutely perfect. That was amazing. But the third act for me just didn't destroy the movie, but it made it go down to a 7 out of 10 from like a 9 out of 10.
Oh, that's fair. I don't know. I think my only issue with that film personally, well, I should save it for when I talk about it, but I'll just say I think some of it looks a little bit dated now, like some of the shots of Gotham as well. Like,
I think The Dark Knight and The Dark Knight Rises both still look beautiful.
Yeah,
but I think Batman Begins, you can notice that it is a bit dated.
I agree. It's the one that doesn't actually fit. It doesn't fit with the other two visually, I don't think, anymore.
Definitely.
The other two went for a very different style, but...
It's quite a brown, it looks quite brown, the movie, whereas The Dark Knight and The Dark Knight Rises are kind of very bright, very blue,
dark, like a dark blue tint to them a lot of the time.
Yeah, they look, even The Dark Knight Rises, absolutely beautiful. I should have said that when you talk about it. It's one of the best ones I've ever seen, or the best looking movies, and obviously it was shot IMAX, I think, as well. But you can notice that Batman Begins, I think, probably had a lower budget than the other two, but I loved Cillian Murphy as Scarecrow. I thought he was really
so
good. Very, very menacing. I thought it was a bit underutilized, actually. He wasn't in it for that much.
I like the fact that he's a reoccurring villain, but I just wish he'd done more.
Because in The Dark Knight Rises, I think he was in that courtroom.
Yeah.
And in Batman Begins, he was obviously at the start, and I feel like they could have used his character a bit more, but obviously you had Bane and the Joker, two of the best villains, comic book villains ever. And they absolutely smashed all the MCU villains, in my opinion. So, that's my number 9. So, what's your number 8?
My number 8 is Memento, which is his second film, I think, isn't it? If I'm correct, after the one we haven't seen.
Yes, the following and then Memento.
I think it's a really good movie. I just personally not a fan of all the jumping around that it does.
Yeah, with all the I understand that.
It was, I don't know. The first time I watched it, I was a bit like, I don't know. I was struggling to follow it, and then I watched it a second time, and it was better, but it still didn't grip me as much as I think it would have if there wasn't as much jumping about. I just think he went a little too overboard with it.
Yeah.
But
what did you think of the sort of the black and white and then the colour? So obviously the colour representing going backwards, and then the shots that were in colour were in like the order of time. What do you think of that? I thought that was very clever.
I thought that was a really, really good idea, actually, because it actually helped me pinpoint where we were, because at times I was thinking, now, what's this bit from?
Yeah,
and it kind of helped a bit, so I did like that, but it's a good film. I like the story. What's his name? Guy Pearce is really good in it. Really good.
Yeah, he's really, really good. Yeah, I think it's a great movie. It's much higher up on my list than it is yours. So, if you want should we move on to my number 8?
Yes.
This is going to be a big surprise for most people because I think this is considered probably his best film by loads. But I have Inception here, and I know that's going to get a lot of hate. It's a great movie. Leonardo DiCaprio, Tom Hardy. Tom Hardy was my highlight of the movie. I love Tom Hardy. And in this film, he was no different. He was amazing. But for me, it's so complicated, the movie. I watched it, I'd say, 4 times, and every time I watch it, sometimes I usually just zone out of it. I find the ending's really good, and the soundtrack is one of the best soundtracks ever. Like, Time is absolutely incredible. I've listened to that probably like 3,000 times. But I struggle to get engrossed into the characters. I think the acting is great, but I don't know why. It's just such a huge scale movie. I just don't find it very relatable at all. The story's really, it's a really clever movie, and I think it probably should be higher on the list, but I can't really give reasoning. It's just, it never hit me like the other Christopher Nolan movies. Like Batman Begins did hit me. This film struck me as a very unique movie. It's a really, really good film. I give it like 4 out of 5, 4.5. But I just don't get engrossed by it. Whenever I watch it, I think about other things. But it's a great movie. It's got one of the best soundtracks ever. Hans Zimmer. Whenever he does a Christopher Nolan soundtrack, it's always top tier. Yeah, it's amazing. I think Hans Zimmer, if he didn't do the soundtrack, the movie would be considered worse, and that means it's a good soundtrack. So he's amazing. But anyway, it's a really good film, really good performances. I just struggled to get engrossed into it. I can't really put it into words. It's a good movie. I can understand if it's one of your favorite movies of all time. But for me, it's not. It's still really good. Well,
that's fair. Yeah, I get that. Yeah. I mean, I'll save my opinions for it when I talk about it. But, it's I can completely get that.
Yeah, definitely.
So my number 9 movie is Insomnia.
Number 9.
Sorry, number 7. What am I on about? Is Insomnia, which I watched only recently so that we could do this. I had it for this video. And I really enjoyed it, actually, because I thought it was just going to be a murder mystery thing, but then of course there's a twist within the first half hour that really affects the plot, and I just thought it was a really engaging movie, actually. I thought it was visually stunning. The cinematography was great. Al Pacino was great in it. Robin Williams was fantastic as well. It took me, I didn't realise it was him on the phone straight away, though, because I knew Robin Williams was in the film, and I was like, where is he?
No. It's great seeing him playing a villain, actually. I thought he was amazing in it. Because he's obviously usually in the comedies, but in this, he transformed, didn't he?
Yeah, I've never seen him do a part like that, to be fair, so that was really good. But
definitely.
I think Al Pacino stole the show. He was...
definitely.
He's always fantastic. So.
Yeah. Well, he was in that new Hunters thing, and I didn't think he was too good in that. But yeah, he is, for most of the time, he's amazing. In The Irishman last year, he was just...
Oh, yeah. Again, he was probably the best one in that as well.
yeah, definitely, yeah. No, probably for me, it was probably De Niro, but yeah. Anyway, off the topic of that, yeah.
But yeah, I'd put Insomnia as my number 7. I really enjoyed that movie.
For me, I don't think it gets much like recognition in the movie. I don't ever hear anyone talking about it. And I didn't know it existed up to about a year ago. Honestly, I don't think you even knew it existed, did you?
I knew it existed, but I didn't know it was Christopher Nolan.
That's it. I think it's a really good movie, and the fact that this doesn't get any recognition and it doesn't really seem to get talked about at all, and I just think it's very surprising, since for me it was an incredible film, and the score as well was also really good. The score for every Christopher Nolan movie is great, but I thought it was very fitting.
Yeah, no, it was really good.
I'll talk more about it.
Yeah,
it's a really good. Yeah, so my number 7 is The Dark Knight Rises. I absolutely adore this movie. It used to be, when I first watched it back in, I think, 2013, when I got the DVD, it was my favourite in the trilogy. I just thought it was so incredible. I thought Bane was honestly one of the best comic book villains, period. He was amazing. He was a very interesting villain. I mean, his ideology was very interesting. And obviously you got Christian Bale as Batman. It's just, you can't go wrong. He's easily the best Batman, or Michael Keaton, but I'd probably say Christian Bale. I thought that there were plot holes in this movie. For example, the biggest one for me were all the police going into the underground. I thought that was obviously no real police force would do that, wouldn't put all of their force in one place. But I thought the movie just looked absolutely beautiful. This is my favourite score in the trilogy also. I think the score for this one's amazing. It's emotional, as you said. The ending with Michael Caine and then Anne Hathaway and Christian Bale in the bar was beautiful. Great ending, a lovely score. Really, really good end. It is filled with plot holes, but I think it is hard to make this movie absolutely flawless. And obviously coming off the back of The Dark Knight, I think everyone says it, but The Dark Knight is one of the best films ever, and it features some of the best performances ever. And coming off the back of that was going to be a tough job, but I think he did a damn good job. And I think some people do probably consider this better than Dark Knight, and I can see why. It does drag, but for me, it's a phenomenal film. Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
No, it is a good time. It's even though I put it as my weakest out of the trilogy, I still find it a very entertaining movie. It's got a lot of heart in it still.
It does.
So my number 6 is Batman Begins, the first one. Which I think I like the ending a bit. So I think because I like the fact that this one touches on comic books a bit more, I enjoyed that. But overall, I thought it was a really good origin story. Maybe my favourite origin story for a superhero. Maybe
mine's probably Unbreakable, but this is very close. I think Unbreakable was incredible. Please go and watch that if you've not, because that movie. Have you seen Unbreakable?
Yeah, I've seen Unbreakable. Yeah.
Oh, it's incredible, that movie. But yeah, it's a great origin story. This one, it's really good.
Yeah, Unbreakable's good. I'm a sucker for the first Iron Man movie, but this is up there with those two, I think, in terms of origin.
I think how
movies.
The character was developed and everything, I thought that was so clever. Yeah, I think seeing his parents die again, obviously we didn't need it, but you have to.
Well, at that point, it hadn't really been done too much, I suppose.
Well, I guess, but now it's done in almost every Batman movie. I mean, I think we've had it in Joker. We did it. We had Batman vs Superman.
Gotham done it.
Gotham. We've had that so many times. But I think this was a good way to do it. And,
no, I just really enjoyed it. I thought Liam Neeson was great in it. It's unfortunate he gets a bit forgotten, but when you got the Joker and Bane that follow, it's
definitely
understandable. But I really enjoy this movie. I think it's really good. I like a lot of the foreshadowing and stuff they do with all the bats and stuff in the early parts of the film. The flashbacks with his dad are nice. I just found this film really enjoyable. I think it's a really well-made movie.
It's a really good movie. It's just for me personally, the ending, but I can completely see why it'd be your number 6. So my number 6, we have Dunkirk. Now, I absolutely love Dunkirk. I think it's so clever how they balance the 3 stories. I think it's the sea, the ground and the sky. I think Tom Hardy was great. Everyone was great in it. It is such a good movie. The score as well. It's a claustrophobic movie. It makes you, obviously, it was very emotional for me watching it. It's really hard to watch, seeing what those boys went through for us. But it is an amazing movie. Is it realistic? I'm not sure. I've heard a lot of people saying that there weren't enough people on the beaches. If you've watched Atonement, I don't know if you've seen that, but you see the beaches and there's
I think it's
James McAvoy,
Keira Knightley in it as well.
Yeah, Keira Knightley.
Yes,
Keira
I have
Knightley.
seen it.
In that one, Dunkirk apparently is portrayed much more accurately, since it's got basically at Dunkirk, the real Dunkirk, there are people lying on the sand everywhere.
Yeah.
But in Dunkirk, the beaches were very empty. I think we only saw like 2 lines of people, and around them was just there was nothing. I thought probably the best performance for me was Mark Rylance, though. I thought he was phenomenal.
Yeah.
But he was absolutely phenomenal. He's good in everything. But everyone else, Tom Hardy was great. Everyone was really good in it. It's a great film, great score, great looks. I saw it in IMAX as well. And that is probably one of the best cinematic experiences I've ever had. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, I like the film a lot, but I think for the cinema and the scope of it is where this film absolutely steals it. It's just incredible on the big screen. Looks amazing.
Yeah, I think if you watch this one for the first time on Blu-ray or even 4K at home, you wouldn't like it anywhere near as much. I think it's same for 1917. You wouldn't like it as much.
No.
And same for Interstellar, same for actually loads of Christopher Nolan films. You have to see them on the big screen. And if you watch this one at home, you probably wouldn't have got the same experience. Because remember, I went to go and see, I think, at View. And the sound everywhere, it was such a loud film. It made you feel like you were there, and it made you feel scared of these characters. And I think there was that one scene with the fire in the ocean. I was really scared. I was so scared. It was horrible. It was absolutely horrible.
Well, I still remember the first gunshot when it literally, the film opens, there's paper flying about something, isn't there? Someone's holding a bit, and then suddenly a gunshot goes off, and it's so loud. Jump out your seat.
I did. It was a great film. I think everyone liked it, really.
Yeah.
I think there are a few people who don't, but it was really good. Anyway, do you want to move on to?
Well, my number 5 is Dunkirk. So there's not really much more I have to say on it, to be honest. It's just one of those things where it's like, you got to see, you had to have seen it at the cinema to get the full experience. But it's one of those films where it's like, it's not there to give you a great story or anything like that. It's just to make you feel like you were there in Dunkirk. It's trying to recapture that important moment in history. And it does a great job at it, I think. It really does.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. It does. It really does. I think the inaccuracy is the only sort of flaw I'd have. I think from a filmmaking standpoint, this movie is close to perfect.
It really is.
I think Tarantino said it's one of the best films of the last decade.
Yeah.
And I can see why completely.
Yeah, no,
it's phenomenal.
Yeah, I do remember him coming out and saying that, actually. It's, technically it is a pretty damn near perfect movie.
Yeah. I think the plane scenes, absolutely flawless. It looked like it was real. I don't know how it was filmed, actually, but absolutely amazing. Definitely, if you haven't seen Dunkirk, definitely. I think the London IMAX shows Christopher Nolan movies, actually, in IMAX. I think they did Interstellar a few. So I'm definitely going to go into Interstellar with my dad. Yeah. But yeah, if you haven't seen Dunkirk, maybe try and check it out there. Or if not, put it on get a 4K of it and play it at home on your big TV.
You got to have it
on a big TV.
Yeah, you need to see it as best quality as you can. If you're just going to get a DVD, you're not going to get the effect.
Don't watch it on an iPad or anything. This is a movie that you have to watch on a big screen. For example, at least a TV, not an iPad or a phone.
No.
If you watch Dunkirk on a phone, I don't know what you are doing, because that's not doing the film justice.
You're wasting your viewing experience there.
Yeah,
it's a waste of time.
You are. Yeah, I think for most Christopher Nolan movies, you should watch them on at least a TV.
Oh, definitely.
The phone. I remember I watched The Prestige on the phone for the first time, and that was a big mistake. I should never have done that. But should I go on to my number 5?
Yes.
My number 5 is Memento. Now, I watched this one for the first time, I think a few months ago. I rewatched it quite recently. I absolutely adore this movie. It's amazing. Guy Pearce was amazing. I think I remember you talked about you getting a bit confused, or they think he was jumping a lot. He didn't jump at all. I thought the way they put the cinema noir, so black and white, and then you had the colour, and then it all comes together at the end, and then you understand the story. I thought it was just phenomenal. Guy Pearce gives one of the best Christopher Nolan performances in a Christopher Nolan movie. I thought it was sensational.
Yeah.
I don't know the names of any of the other actors in it. I can't remember, but it's a great film. It's got a great cast. I like the voiceover element of it as well. It's such a great film. I absolutely loved it. It was so clever. And it's his third film, or his second film. And I don't know if it was big when it came out, but it's still quite underrated. I don't get it I don't hear anything about it really.
No,
I think it's like really only Inception, Interstellar, the Dark Knight trilogy that I hear loads about. All the others are kind of just not ignored, but they're not talked about much. But this movie needs much more recognition. It's so clever. Even if you don't like it, I'm pretty sure you can appreciate how clever it is.
It's again, some of the shots they use in it are beautiful and they're fantastic. But typical Christopher Nolan style, where very rarely that he has a story or a plot that doesn't capture you really well. But even if it doesn't, the camera shots and stuff from cinematography and the sound mixing and the score, it all pulls it together really well. Memento still does that. So
yeah, it does. I certainly agree. I was blown away the first time I watched it. Every time I watch it, it just gets better. It's one of those movies. Every time I watch it, it just gets better. And actually, the first time I watched it, I thought I'd be really confused at what was going on. I actually understood it the first time, which was a big surprise to me. Since with Interstellar, the first time I watched it, I had no clue what was going on. But this one, I wasn't confused. I understood the ending. And I watched some of the ending explaining videos, and it is just such a clever movie. It's easily one of his best movies, and it's so underrated. If you've not seen Memento, please go watch it. Even if you don't like it, I'm sure you'll appreciate it. It's such a clever film. It's really, really, really good. Yeah. So
nice. I'll do my number 4 now. Then I put in another film which I also think gets a bit forgotten, which is a real shame. The Prestige.
Yeah, it is.
It's I think that film's incredible. I love the relationship that Christian Bale and Hugh Jackman have in it. I think it's great. And again, it's just a really interesting story. And I love all of the actors that pop up in it as well, like Andy Serkis. Even David Bowie pops up.
Yeah, David Bowie, that was really cool.
And I love that. I'm a big Bowie fan, so I remember him walking up on the screen. I was like, oh my God. But I think the story's great. I love all these magic tricks and stuff. I love seeing how some of the rubbish they pulled off, basically. I think it's just fascinating. And of course, typical Christopher Nolan, it's beautiful, the score's great, the film moves along really well, it's very well paced.
What do you think of the ending?
I was shocked, and at first I wasn't super happy because I really like Hugh Jackman. I was like, oh man. But I do really like it. I think it's got a really nice...
Yeah, it's a great ending. The ending spoiled for me before I watched the film. Which is annoying, but it's such a great film.
Yeah.
I think they both give such great... I know, I'll talk more about that. So I'll go to my number 4. I have Insomnia. Now, I watched this for the first time probably like a week ago. I had it in my collection for probably like a year and a half, and I just haven't got around to it. But I watched it for the first time, and just such a great film. I did not expect it to like it as much as I did. I absolutely loved it. Al Pacino was incredible. Great to see Robin Williams and not, a comedy film. A bit similar to Adam Sandler, I think, in Uncut Gems and stuff.
Yes.
It's great to see, the comedy actors sort of coming out of their shells and going into more sort of ambitious movies. It's great to see that. I hope we can see maybe more comedians go into more serious film. I thought Robin Williams was great. He was menacing. He was weird. He was scary. Hilary Swank was also really, really good. The ending was great. The ending really pulled it together for me. I think the first 2 acts were great. I think the first act was probably my favourite. But if the ending didn't work for this movie, I think I wouldn't have liked it as much as I did. But the ending for me worked completely. Al Pacino's character was great. I just loved it. I loved the look of the film. I loved how it was in that small village. I don't know what it was called, but if you felt very isolated, it's quite similar to, for example, Get Out or Knives Out, when you're locked in this certain place. Made it feel more claustrophobic. I thought it was a great movie. It was quite scary at times as well. The foggy bits at the start, I wasn't scared, but it was quite, frightening looking at that. And then obviously the twist in the first 20 minutes or something, that was really clever. And same as you, I thought it was just going to be your typical murder sort of guy murders a girl. Al Pacino's looking for her, but obviously took a very big twist in the first 20 minutes. Very clever. I think if it did just do that classical murder thing, I would have been quite surprised, since I know Christopher Nolan likes to sort of go overboard and do something completely different. He never really goes just for the normal murder mystery. He always does something that makes it more complicated, and he certainly did that, and it's really clever. And it's really good. And you really feel for Al Pacino's character, because you don't know what is the right thing to do there. Does he reveal what he did, or does he just, just go on with his daily life? I don't know. It was a really, really clever movie. Absolutely loved it. I watched it on my TV in here. I wish I did actually watch it on my one downstairs on the bigger TV. Because it was a great looking film. Had the shots of the mountains and stuff. I didn't think it'd be such a great looking film. It's only his third movie. I don't know if it was big when it came out, but it deserves more praise. I think Chris Stuckman says this is the most underrated Christopher Nolan movie, and I probably agree. Or my number 2, I'm not too sure, but the film gets no talk. You score, you go.
Oh, I was just going to say, I think I'd probably say The Prestige. I think is probably his most underrated, but this one's very close still. But
I think The Prestige is in the top 250 on IMDb, and it has like a 4 on Letterboxd, and this one has 3.5. And I mean, movies such as Man of Steel have somewhere around 3.5. I mean, some bad films have quite high rating. I mean, Shazam, I think, has a 3.5 or something. And this movie is above all those other films. This movie deserves 4 stars or above for me. I'd probably give it 5 stars. It's just not the perfect movie. It doesn't do everything right. I think it does drag it a few times. I think it's 1 hour and 50 minutes, but great film. I was engrossed from, the start to the finish. Really good movie. Really great ending. If you like your thriller, murder mystery sort of films, this one's the one for you. Please go and watch. I don't think it's got a UK Blu-ray release. I've got I think this is German. So maybe, I don't know if it's on any of the streaming services, but where did you watch it?
I watched it on a streaming service. Yeah, I need to get the Blu-ray. I will get it.
I think it's a German. Yeah, it's a German one. I think, but it didn't get a UK release, but I don't know why it's not, and I don't know why the following's not got a UK release either. Since Christopher Nolan.
I mean, as big as Christopher Nolan is, you would have thought that they would have given these films Blu-ray releases by now. Weird, because
those Our Academy give releases to movies that I don't think anyone's heard of, and a Christopher Nolan movie doesn't have a Blu-ray release. It's weird, but I guess that's where it's going. Not every film's going to get Blu-ray anymore. So what is it now? Number 3?
3? Yes, my number 3 is The Dark Knight.
Wow.
Which I love The Dark Knight, but I don't know if I've almost got bored of people saying it's his best one.
Yeah, definitely. I kind of understand that.
Because I love it, but if you take Heath Ledger out of it as the Joker, do you think the film is honestly like a 10 out of 10? I think it's still close. I think you could say that. You could say that for so many films, though. Yeah.
If you take, I don't know what other movie here. If you take, I don't know, Batman. There's not really any Christopher Nolan movies, but there are so many of the best films of all time that if you take out a certain character, they're not going to be anywhere as near as good, like The Godfather or something. You could say that for so many great films, but yeah. Anyway, if you want to talk about
No, you're definitely right. But it's just like it's a really well-made film. It's great. It really is good. But without the Joker, I kind of feel it's like it's still a great film. It's really, but it's more like one of those more average Christopher Nolan movies.
Yeah.
But with the Joker, that added performance, which makes you want to keep watching because you want to see where he's going next, what he's going to do next. It keeps the film going really well. He is probably my second favourite villain of all time, the Joker.
Who's your favourite?
Oh, Vader, Star Wars, gotta be.
Vader, yeah, of course, yeah.
But I'd say the Joker is my second favourite villain of all time. I grew up watching some of the animated stuff. My favourite Joker is Mark Hamill. So seeing this version, this is a completely, almost original version, because I've never known a version of the Joker like this in the comics that I've read or that I've heard about. Heath Ledger took this character and he completely made it his own. He is without a doubt the best live-action Joker, in my opinion.
Would you not say Joaquin or Jack Nicholson? What did you think of Joaquin Phoenix?
I thought Joaquin Phoenix was good as the Joker. I thought he was really good as the Joker, but the character himself, I think Heath Ledger got closer to capturing that. In fairness, Heath Ledger had a whole film. Joaquin Phoenix only had the last 5 to 10 minutes of Joker.
What? Joaquin? No.
Joaquin Phoenix. Is that not how you say his name? Joaquin Phoenix?
No. Joaquin Phoenix was in the Joker movie. That was Jared Leto in Suicide Squad.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Oh, sorry. No, I was saying like Joaquin Phoenix was really only the Joker for the last 10 minutes of the film, though. Because the rest of it he's building up to becoming the character.
Agreed.
I wouldn't even put Jared Leto on the scale.
Of course. Yeah, he was absolutely terrible. He was so bad. I do feel a bit sorry for Jared Leto, though. He got a terrible script.
Oh, yeah. It's not entirely... The Suicide Squad script was...
Yeah. Was terrible. He got the makeup was absolutely horrendous. He looked so bad. He didn't look like the Joker, and the whole scene with the whole stuff with Harley Quinn was terrible. But I still do feel sorry for him. But his Joker was really bad.
It's a mixture of everything. It was the script, the makeup. His performance was way too over the top, And that was just that was a mixture of everything. But
yeah.
And, you know, Joaquin Phoenix, as I say, he's only really the Joker at the end of it because the film is a lead up to him becoming that character. Whereas Heath Ledger had the whole film. Unlike poor Jared Leto, he had a good script, good costume, and he was just playing the hell out of that part. It was fantastic. But, you know, the film is a lot more than just the Joker because you've got Two-Face in there as well. And I forget the name of the actor who plays him, but he does a fantastic job.
It's I can't remember his name, but he was in I, Frankenstein as well.
Yes, yeah, I did watch that film, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But but the cinematography in this film is beautiful.
Oh, yeah,
the effects are amazing. Like, I've watched the behind the scenes stuff, seeing where they shot some of the stuff, like when they flipped that lorry and scenes like that. It's incredible.
Yeah, so have I. Yeah, it is.
It is all round it is a really good movie. It is. I'd give this film like a 9. I think it is close to perfect. I wouldn't quite say it is perfect, but it's close. It's great, and I mean, everyone talks about The Dark Knight still.
Yeah, I think everyone can. I've not met one person who doesn't like The Dark Knight. I think another thing I need to touch upon with Christopher Nolan is he uses practical effects really. I think in the Dark Knight trilogy,
really well.
I think that is so great since we're surrounded by I don't hate the MCU by the way, but the MCU Avengers Endgame, for example, the final act is really only CGI. Yeah. I think the fact that Christopher Nolan can make a superhero film with really only, I think was there any CGI in The Dark Knight? I don't think there was. I think there was obviously in Batman Begins, but in The Dark Knight Rises and Dark Knight, I'm not sure there was. But the fact that he can make a superhero film that is widely considered the best superhero film ever, and is, in my opinion, with no CGI, is amazing. Superheroes, they're meant to be flying around and stuff, and Dark Knight is amazing. But should I talk about my number 3?
Yes, go for it.
My number 3 is Interstellar. Now, this film, I've got the HD Zeta steelbook of it, and this movie is absolutely amazing. I've watched it probably 10 times. I still don't understand all of it. I've watched so many explaining Interstellar videos. I still don't understand all the black hole stuff, but Matthew McConaughey he's so good in this movie. Everyone else is really good. The score as well, one of my favourite scores. Another one of my favourite scores. I do want to get the vinyl of it as well. Yeah, Interstellar is, once in a lifetime movie. It's one of the best sort of sci-fi movies ever. It's so clever. And a lot of people I've heard say this movie is just a bit too much and a bit too clever and trying too hard. But for me, it wasn't at all.
No,
I think this was probably his dream movie, and it came out, and you could sense the passion that went into it, and everything was perfect. It wasn't the perfect movie for me. It did drag a bit, and it was a bit over long. But apart from that, this movie is sensational. It probably is. I don't know if it's the best looking film I've ever seen, but I wish I could have went to go and see this one in IMAX. I think I only went to see it in the Odeon. But again, this one does play sometimes in the London IMAX. So next time it does, I need to go and see it since that will be absolutely sensational.
Well, you saying that it was like a perfect film for Christopher Nolan, wasn't it in his contract with Warner Brothers that, because they wanted him to obviously make The Dark Knight Rises after the success of The Dark Knight, they were like, do another one. Yeah. And I think it was in his contract. He was like, well, I'm making this film first. This is the film I really want to make. So
yeah, I think I've read that Christopher Nolan didn't actually want to do The Dark Knight Rises. And I can see why, because he's such a great filmmaker, and he doesn't strike me as the sort of filmmaker who'd want to make a trilogy. He wants to make every movie there's new ideas, new characters. And I think as much as I love The Dark Knight Rises, I think you can sense that there's, sort of he was a bit lazy with it. For example, there weren't that many new characters, and the new characters for me, apart from Bane, didn't really do anything for me. And I think the movie was only really as good as it was because of Batman, and obviously he was in the other 2 movies. But you could sense that with The Dark Knight Rises, I've read about it as well, that he didn't really want to do it. Yeah. Obviously, Warner Bros. Wanted him to do it since it made them like $1 billion, whatever. But with Interstellar, you could tell this was his passion. He wanted to make the movie, and it came out as well, because the movie is sensational. I need to watch it again. Yeah, it is just so darn good. It is so darn good. And I don't even have the 4K. I need to get the 4K of this one.
Oh yeah, no, it's stunning. Must be a 4K watch.
Yeah, but I don't know if it's got a good transfer. I don't know. Have you got the 4K?
I haven't actually. I'm saying got to get the 4K, but I actually don't have the 4K.
I don't know. I feel like I've heard someone saying it's not the best transfer, but that could just be another movie. But I think it's such a great film. I think everyone I know loves this movie. Even if you don't understand it, you're still going to enjoy it. I don't know why that is, but it's such a complicated movie. I've watched it 10 times, as I've already said, and it gets the praise it deserves. This is one of those films that gets enough praise. I mean, for some it probably gets too much, but for me it doesn't. It's such a clever movie, and just outlines why Christopher Nolan is one of the best filmmakers ever, in my opinion. Such a great filmmaker, and I love Interstellar.
Yeah. Oh, nice. My number 2 film is Inception.
Wow, okay.
Which, so we differ a little bit on that one.
Yeah, that is, we differ.
I think this film is pretty damn near perfect. Every time, it's one of those things, it's like Westworld. When you sit down to watch it, you've got to just engage, because if you clock off for even a second,
definitely.
Lost.
You need to listen to all the dialogue. Everything that's in the movie matters.
I think it's such a clever film, though. I think the writing is fantastic. I think as long as you engage, it's easy enough to follow. Well, I say that like it is easy, but it's fine. I think you can follow it pretty well if you engage enough. I think all the characters are fantastic. I think the pacing's great. I think the cinematography is beautiful. Some of the action sequences look incredible.
Yeah. When was it? Was it 2010? Was it? I think it was
10.
It looks amazing. It looks absolutely incredible for 2010.
Yeah, it was 2010. Yeah, I don't know, something about this film. I think it is just near perfection. I really don't have any problems with it. I think it is stupidly good.
yeah, it is. I think that was one thing that I was angry about, though. I think Michael Caine revealed at the ending what happened in the end, so obviously that is real. I don't know why he did that, because I think it was great if they just left it as, open to interpretation. I think they should have really left it, but that's not a flaw of the movie. That's just Michael Caine making a bit of a mistake, and that did annoy me, since I loved when I first watched it. I was like, so is that real or is that fake? I thought that was so clever.
No, I do love the ending. I still kind of have it up in the air a bit in my head whether it's real or not, the ending, because I don't know if I trust Michael Caine too much. I know that he got told it by Christopher Nolan, but I don't know if that was Christopher Nolan just chucking him a bone because he's an old guy. But I think it was just such a clever film. I really do love everything about it. I think the story is so good. It's so original and clever.
Yeah.
That it's just unlike anything else I've ever seen.
It is. It's a very unique story, and I can completely see why you like it so much. Just for me, I struggle to engage with it. I've really tried. I've watched it 3 times in the morning, like literally 10 o'clock, just as I've woken up. Since I was awake, I was ready, and it's still a great film. It's like a 4 out of 5 movie. For me, it just doesn't deserve to be in the same tier as The Dark Knight and my favourite Christopher Nolan movies. But I can see why completely. And I think most people do think it's one of the best Nolan movies. I just don't. But I can completely see why it's a great movie.
That's fair.
It's really good. So shall I go do my number 2?
Yes.
So my number 2 is The Prestige. Now, I just adore this movie. From start to finish, it is just... There's twists and turns. The ending features one of the best twists ever. I still think The Sixth Sense has the best twist ending, but this one was darn close. I think Hugh Jackman, I think Christian Bale, we've had so many times, has proved to be one of the best working actors, but Hugh Jackman, for me, he's in not many movies that, for me, bring out his acting ability. I think the only real ones that I personally watched have been Logan. He was phenomenal in that. In Prisoners, he was also amazing. Maybe overacted a tiny bit, but he was still really good. But in this one, he probably gives my favourite performance ever. He was sensational. As you said, David Bowie, when I saw him come on screen, I was really happy. Great to see him in a movie. Or is it Andy Serkis? They both had small roles, him and David Bowie, but they were both really good. Scarlett Johansson was also really good. I just thought the movie was just so clever, and I was engaged from start to finish. I watched it countless times. I'm going to watch it again and again and again. Since that ending always gets me, it's so clever. I think it probably is maybe less original than maybe Interstellar or Inception. But I think the fact that, for me personally, the fact that he can make 2 magicians mess around with tricks, such a serious and, such a serious movie, I just found that was just mind-blowing. And if you look at the premise on a piece of paper, you're like, okay, that's going to be probably a children's, just sort of a mess around movie that you're not going to think much of. But after it, for me personally, I was affected by it. It plucked every single right chord, and it deserves to be on my number 2. It could even be number 1, probably. It is one of my favorite films ever. I love it from start to finish. I'm engaged every time I watch it. And for me, it is probably his most underrated movie. And I don't know if you agree with that, but
I do.
Insomnia and Memento don't get talked about. The Prestige never gets talked about. It's got something like 79% of Rotten Tomatoes. I really don't understand that. I don't know. I think the critics just thought it was good. But for me, it is just, I didn't expect to like it as much as I did the first time I watched it. I first watched it, I remember it was like an evening. I was a bit down. I had like a bad day, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to watch The Prestige, and it just lifted my mood. It is such a great movie, and it doesn't get any recognition. I never hear it get talked about. Same as Insomnia and Memento. I think basically every other Christopher Nolan movie gets a little talk, but those three don't, and they are three of my favorite Christopher Nolan movies. And this one is just pretty. I probably could say one of the most underrated films of all time. I think it is on the IMDb top 250, but I'm not too sure on that. But the critics didn't love it, but for me, I just speechless after it.
I definitely agree on it being underrated, just because I don't hear people talk about it. When people talk about Christopher Nolan, it's like you said earlier, it is Inception, Interstellar, Dunkirk, and of course the Dark Knight trilogy.
Yeah.
Other than that, all the others kind of get pushed to the back and forgotten.
It's quite sad.
But the Prestige should definitely be with Inception, Interstellar, and Dunkirk. So
I mean, I love Inception and Dunkirk, but for me, Memento, Insomnia, and The Prestige are just better movies in my opinion. I mean, I guess I could see why someone would say that Inception's much better than Insomnia, just from an originality standpoint. Insomnia is not that original, and I think it was actually a remake of a Norwegian movie, so I guess that's why critics didn't love it. Since critics obviously just never really like remakes, and for the most part, remakes are usually quite bad. But with Insomnia, it's a great remake. But The Prestige features two great performances. The ending, I had it spoiled for me, and I think if I probably didn't have it spoiled for me, this would probably be my favorite Christopher Nolan movie, since it's a great ending, and it's up there with The Sixth Sense for all the best twist endings. This is probably his best twist. I think he's not done that many twists. I think The Dark Knight Rises, the El Ghul thing, the girl, I can't remember her name. What was her name?
Talia al Ghul.
Talia. I thought that twist didn't work at all. I wasn't surprised at all. But I don't think there's any. I think the Memento twist at the end was good. Insomnia always had a twist in the first 20 minutes, but this is easily his best twist. Great twist. I saw it coming, but if I hadn't known the ending, beforehand, I would never have seen it coming, since it was amazing. Really good movie.
Oh, fair enough. It's nice that The Prestige is getting some love, I think, because, as I say, I don't really hear anyone else talk about it that much. But my number one, my favourite Christopher Nolan movie is Interstellar.
Yeah, I can see why.
It's I don't have anything bad to say about it. I think it is visually stunning. One of the best films I've ever seen.
I think it's the best, probably the best. I don't know what, I can't think of anything that rivals it, really.
No, it's just in a league of its own. All of the acting is fantastic. It's crazy it come out the same year as The Martian, I'm pretty sure, isn't it? It's like 2014.
It
might be a year between, but they come out so close together.
For me, The Martian was okay, but
I like The Martian a lot. But it's just funny that you've got Matt Damon being stranded in two films that come out at the same time.
I know. I'm sorry, I forgot that. Yeah, I know. It's really weird.
I always forget that Matt Damon's in this film, and it's not because his character's bad or he's doing bad. It's just because there's so many great things in this film, and he's only in it for 20 minutes.
He was good in it though. I thought he was really. He's good in everything though. But he was good in this.
He was. I really liked his character. You really grow to hate his character so quick. And I love that. But all the characters are fantastic. I love the actors who they picked as well. Like, I remember specifically watching this film in the cinema, and I didn't know Jessica Chastain was in it. Yeah. When you see his daughter, I honest to God remember thinking it's in the cinema. I was like, Jessica Chastain can play her grown up, and then what do you know? He does. And I remember Jessica Chastain showing up on the
wasn't Case Affleck in it as well? Case Affleck was in it for a short time.
Yes,
I think he was the brother. Yeah, he was in Manchester by the Sea, which is one of my favorite films. He is sensational, and he's probably a better actor than Ben Affleck in my opinion. He is just amazing, and he was also in a movie last year as well.
Yeah,
Death of Dick Long or something. But
I didn't see that one. But
no, that was good. But he is amazing. He's really good.
Yeah, the acting all around in this was great. It's my favourite performance Michael Caine's given in a Christopher Nolan movie.
Really? Well, what else has been? He's been in The Prestige. He was a side character in that, and the Dark Knight movies. Yeah. And was he in Dunkirk? He was. No, he was. Well, he didn't act in it, but when Tom Hardy was in the plane, the man who was talking as Tom Hardy in the plane was actually Michael Caine, which was he wasn't in it though. But I think that's it. I think. Oh no, he was in Inception, wasn't he as well? Was he in Inception?
Oh yes, of course, yes, he was in Inception. Yeah. But this is the best performance he has in a Christopher Nolan film, I think. The ending, I know that's where a lot of people lost it with this film. The ending.
Yeah, definitely.
And I get it, I do. But I thought it was really clever. It works well because it ties in with the start of the film really well.
The book's moving.
Yeah, I honestly put this film on once a year. I sit there and I have a great time with it. I think, in terms of filmmaking, this is his best one easily.
Yeah, it's his best looking movie. I mean, it's this or The Dark Knight Rises, but I think was Interstellar shot on IMAX? I think it was. I've got a feeling it must have been.
Yeah,
but I think those are the only two. Obviously, I think his new film will also be shot on IMAX. But for now, Dark Knight Rises and Interstellar are the only ones that are shot on IMAX, and he was just the IMAX looks amazing.
Was Dunkirk Was Dunkirk not?
Actually, no, Dunkirk was probably shot on IMAX as well. But yeah, I think Interstellar is his best looking movie. Some of the shots are just it's orgasmic.
And the soundtrack as well.
Oh yeah, from Hans Zimmer.
It really builds that film up and the tension, and it's just fantastic. I
watched a video of Hans Zimmer talking about the score. And obviously, he used the organ a lot. I thought that was really good. And that was so unique because with most soundtracks, you get, sort of the stereotypical like bass and stuff. But the soundtrack was so unique, yet it goes with the film so well. And this one contributes to the movie. I think Inception, the Dark Knight movies, the score really makes you like the movie more. And Interstellar, it does. The score is amazing. So should we go on to my number one?
Yes.
My number one is the Dark Knight. It's a boring choice, I know. I think it's most people's favourite, but for me, it's a flawless film. It does everything right.
Yeah.
Heath Ledger, obviously, R.I.P. to him. What an actor! And I don't know if he was better in this or Brokeback Mountain. He was amazing in both. But he is probably my second favorite villain ever as well, or even my favorite. It's Darth Vader or him.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was amazing. Christian Bale's voice. Some people critique it, saying it's too weird, but I love the throaty element of that. Just amazing from the first shot. The last shot's my favorite ending shot to a Christopher Nolan movie with obviously Gary Oldman's like he's talking and then Batman's on the bike going up the hill. Amazing. Just first time I watched it, I was speechless, and I've watched it probably 20 times and I never get bored of it. There's one scene in it that I do find quite funny is when you've got Two-Face lying down in the hospital bed. And then you've got Heath Ledger with the sort of the mask. The mask he wears. And then he didn't notice that he was him. I find that quite funny. But apart from that, there's no flaws with the film. I thought Heath Ledger he went all into the performance. I don't know if that actually ended up killing him. I know a lot of people say that this performance really did make him go a bit mental since he was so into it. I don't know, but I think everyone agrees that he is one of the best villains ever. He is one of the best performances ever. Thank God he won the Academy Award as well because he deserves that. Yeah. Christian Bale, Michael Caine, amazing, absolutely amazing. It's probably a boring choice, and some people would maybe like to see like Insomnia or Memento at my number one. But for me, The Dark Knight is probably my favorite film ever. It's up there anyway, and it deserves to be up here since it's so good. But I can see why some people would say it's overrated, but it's easily the best comic book movie. It beats the MCU put together. Just this movie for me personally, I absolutely love it. I'm a DC fanboy, but I think if DC didn't have the Dark Knight trilogy, there'll be no competition at all. But for me, DC is just better since the Marvel movies for me follow a formula, and for me, DC just doesn't. I mean, if you look at Joker, the DCU does, but Joker, the Dark Knight trilogy, Watchmen, V for Vendetta, they're all so unique for me, and Marvel don't put that many unique movies out, and DC do. But I still love the MCU. I still really enjoy Endgame, Infinity War. But easily the best comic book film, one of the best films ever. Looks amazing. I think it was like 2008, and it still hasn't aged at all. It's still if it came out now, I could see it coming out now and think, that looks like a good film.
The effects and stuff, 100%. Visually, it's stunning. It holds up really well.
I think we can all agree that Christopher Nolan makes good use of the money, of the budget of the movie. I think some movies have huge budgets and then they end up not looking too good, like the X-Men Dark Phoenix. That had a huge budget and it looked pretty bad at times.
Yeah.
But every time Christopher Nolan makes a movie, it looks amazing. And even with Insomnia, I don't know if that had that big of a budget and it looked so good. But
no, I completely agree.
One, great film, such a good movie. And Like, he's just such an amazing filmmaker, and we can't wait for Tenet. I don't know if you're looking forward to it like me, but
I can't wait. I'm trying to avoid trailers. I want to go into it completely blind.
Yeah, I've watched the first trailer, but it didn't give anything away. It just showed a few images of the movie, a bit of people talking, but it didn't show anything. I think that's why he's so good, because so many trailers now reveal the whole movie, like Batman vs Superman trailer revealed basically the whole film. But Chris Nolan is so good at making a trailer that attracts you in, not giving you anything, and that is so important. That is so important, and I think that's why we love his movies so much. Since we have no idea what to expect, we watch them, and then they're just sensational. But yeah, Dark Knight's my number one. Your number one was Interstellar. Two great movies, and but yeah, such a great filmmaker.
Yeah.
So that is going to wrap up our Christopher Nolan ranking. I've really enjoyed doing this with you.
Thank you.
Got round to it, yeah. Once we got round to it, it was really good. I hope we can do more in the future. Obviously, this is going on my channel, but we'll definitely do some sort of ranking for your channel, maybe Star Wars or another director. But yeah, that would be good. So yeah, I think we can all agree he's one of the best filmmakers ever. And you know, if you've not watched any of these movies, please do, since they are all sensational. Even Batman Begins, you know, my least favorite is one of my favorite comic book films, and I do need to watch The Following as well. I want to watch that now. But yeah, been a pleasure doing this with you, mate.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Really good. Yeah, thank you for watching, everyone. Make sure to leave a like, also subscribe. I'll leave a link to Moviebug's channel in the description. Go and subscribe to me. He's just hit 2,000 subscribers. Obviously, I'm nowhere near as big as him, but yeah. Thank you. Thank you for watching, everyone, and I'll see you in the next video.
Thank you. See you.